to the fifth dimension. It's Joanna. How's everybody doing? Everybody's good, good. It's been a very busy week, so busy. And it's time to just chill and get some high vibes out there because we miss y'all, We're going to be talking about soul blueprints, really quick video to remind everyone as they're awakening into their divine soul essence of who they are. This is the Early Morning Ascension Show, and I'm Joanna. I am a Christ conduit. I am an author. I teach ascension classes, private and group healing sessions and webinars, as well as ceremonial activations through light language, through sacred sound and tone and healing, as well as the vibrational offerings through the Christ consciousness that I've come with. So very blessed to have chosen the body and the soul blueprint that I have and the contracts that I've had to activate and trigger many things, many things that are held deep within the allness of all that we are as individuals, the extraordinary wisdoms and elegance that we all carry within our soul blueprint. And that soul blueprint is the encompassment of who we are as like these vast cosmic universal beings. And the three awakening questions that we all move through in the process of awakening that get us stirred into more of a dynamic experience of who we are is beginning to ask ourselves, who am I and why am I here and what do I exist in? What's going on within me? Because we absolutely feel through the process of awakening different than we did the day before, because we understand that the physical body in and of itself is not only shifting and changing, but we're feeling ourselves in a different way. What that means is that the layers of density are being peeled away through your healing and your releasing of the density through beliefs, patterns, habits, and the vibrational stories that we've always been told and taught, that we were placed within these little boxes that said, this is your conformed role, this is your conformed experience, this is your conformed attitude and behaviors that you must pick up from the dogma and from the social experience and from all the familial lineage. And this is what your role is on earth. And if you break free outside of it, then there will be consequences, and you will be scorned and you will be subject to, subjugation or persecution. And those go at a myriad of multidimensional levels, depending on how your soul blueprint wants to experience the liberation. Because if you're experiencing these vibrational experiences and through stories of what your character thought you were, what you thought you had to experience, and the limitations there within, limitation, greed, separation, and control, all of those are fear-based limiting vibrations. Those are the 3D vibrations we've all come to transcend and heal. And so in these experience of these vibrational stories, you receive them from everywhere, mostly your familial experiences. Why those blueprints are so important, because we contract eon through the realms and through the bodies and through the many realms of dimension. We experience these soul contracts with these similar people through the experiential soul timelines that it wants to experience, so that it comes back to that renewed place of love and oneness and healing for thyself. You contract with the soul family that you come within to allow that triggering of those similar controlling threads, whether it was here or on Sirius, that you had a controlling timeline where you were a victim of control, or whether you were the perpetrator of control. Usually, if you have, for instance, if you're healing an experience within your heart right now where you were abused in a controlling situation, or you didn't speak your truth in a controlling situation, that link can be held on, getting my little timeline. That timeline of control may have happened on 1 or 2 or 3 other timelines in different bodies and different forms. And so what you're going through right now, or if you're feeling limited or you're feeling suffocated in a certain role, whether it's a job or whether it's a familial experience, and you're seeking to find a way out, if you will, then that experience, say in this body, in this timeline, on this earth, will affect this one, and this one that also had those controlling threads of persecution or limitation, or not being able to express who you are freely, because control works in a multidimensional experience and affects the body, it affects the emotional well-being, it affects it absolutely has everything to do with the mental well-being, and of course the physical body, as well as producing many illnesses and many detriments to the being of itself. And so that is the fullest expression of who we are as creative beings, to be fully liberated and to be fully expressive in all the way are in all the ways that we can be. That is the awakening process through which every day, taking account for your epicenter, taking account for your mind, body, heart, spirit, and soul. And are you directing it? Are you navigating it? Are you focusing it with intention and direction that honors you, that values you? And in those limiting, controlling experiences, where they're very subtle and they go at various levels of our reality. And every time that you notice a moment of subjugation, every time you notice or you're giving your power away to someone else, that we do quite naturally, like that, who holds the money in the household, and all of those things. And are you allowing your rights and your values and your expressiveness to be as valued and honored as possible? And this is the redirection of self, not to project the self outside of you for your values, for your importance, and for your your belonging, if you will, but to redirect all of your consciousness back within and call all of your consciousness back within. And as we do so, we collect these soul fragments. We collect these soul fragments from the omnipresent, the universe, if you will, that have also had persecutory energies through control, where their lives were cut very short, or where there was so much subjugation and their lives were specifically and directly, 24/7, moving through this having to survive experience. And they didn't have necessarily the time, if you will, to process and integrate and reflect upon those dynamic timelines that were very painful and tragic. But that's why those that are going through awakening, you have those clearing experiences in your monthly ascension cycle. So it's really important to kind of note down, where am I in my ascension cycle? Am I going through a release right now? They'll usually line up with the moon cycles. And your teams and your higher self and your soul, because the soul is a vast experience, right? You're living as a soul. You're living as the all. This is you and God at the center. There's a top-down view on all the dimensions and all the bodies that you come within. When your soul is moving through a moment for moment now reality experience, all timelines, all experiences of you on this now reality right now, and you're going through this experience of your now reality that you've called in a manifestation to finally deal with an issue within your family that has been negative or toxic due to control, due to perhaps addictions, or due to subjugation, or any type of energy that is negative and holding anyone back in the family circle. When you're calling that energy forward to deal with it here, and it becomes quite intense just for an everyday experience, if you will, but that experience kind of overwhelms you emotionally, that you absolutely know that it's about 3 or 4 timelines. And those 3 or 4 timelines can feel absolutely intense. And you have those energies within your heart chakra that feel like, why am I feeling so intense about this one experience, when there's relevance somewhat, but not the relevance that I feel within my bodies. And you'll feel that emotional body needing to purge, because those 3 or 4 timelines and that soul blueprint that it carried didn't have the strength, didn't have the awareness, didn't have the acknowledgement, didn't have the wisdoms or the intelligence at that time to heal those really steeped, sensitive topics like control or addiction or abuse, if you will. And so, but now we're at the age of awakening. We're entering into the golden era, if you will. And this golden era means that we are bathed with everything that we need within us as light, to be the shining example of who we are as light, to say, these are the experiences that have been happening within the circle, and they must come to a complete and open experience of who we all are, and how the accountability can be taken to create an honorable level of new experience for the souls. Because the souls in the contracts that you thread within, make no mistake about it, you chose the moment that you were born. You chose the moment through which you were going to contract with those in your direct family circle, the ones that offer you the highest level of soul connective growth. And oftentimes it's with those that often are the most challenging and painful and difficult, because their soul blueprint had similar codes of destruction, suffering, or pain that they could offer you in their triggering to pay those opposite roles through the infinity of the positive and the negative, if you will. You'll take turns playing those positive and negative roles to be the catalyst for one another, so that you go within and say, why does this keep representing itself to me through these experiences of my soul contracts? Because there's wounding within that heart that goes 5 and 6 timelines deep, and they feel so profound. And that allows us just to let go of all the blaming and the shaming, because it wasn't the individuals in the outer experience that were actually doing the things. They were the reflections of what steeped density was held within, and the pain that was held within any one of your chakras that just needed to be purged, because there was so much trauma in the abusive timelines of control. And this is what everybody is feeling, especially for those children of, the children that have been abused and trafficked, and the incredible challenges that they face, and the steeped control that they face. And many of us have gone through similar control energies of clearing them, so that we can show the children how to clear these deep energies of pain and suffering. Because it does affect the multidimensional bodies. So if you're not dealing with issues of control and subjugation as they come up, and how you give your power away in those experiences, they do absolutely create the density and the darkness in your body. And we say darkness, and we understand what a healthy cell looks like and what an unhealthy cell looks like. And it's the same as when it sits in your chakra. And we come within these soul blueprints. You come within the soul of who you are. And your soul will say that as I awaken, I'm going to connect with the mother and the father. And I absolutely know in this lifetime that I wanted to deepen who I am as spirit. And I wanted to be this center of mother and father. I will have a balanced male body and a female body. And I'm going to come and I'm going to understand and honor my bodies. I'm going to understand my fields. I'm going to ensure that I'm doing daily clearing, so that when these really deep traumatic wounds come from these 3 and 4 timelines where there was abuse through control, there was abuse through sexual control, there was abuse through mental and emotional control, then I'm absolutely going to have the strength to purge it and clear it. And they're not, those deep wounds, especially the more advanced you are in your ascension path, because we often save those, if you will, for the very last, the 51% of our clearing, because we've had so much experience in understanding how to clear those really steeped and deep emotions. And they're not comfortable at all because we've been so used to these vibrational stories that we've been closed off and told ourselves to be closed off to the emotional body, and how important it is to our healing, how important it is to our manifesting. The emotional body has been stunted in every way: physically, mentally, emotionally, psychically, telepathically, spiritually. It's been shut down, and therefore completely suppressed and overwhelmed by the suppression and the depression, that it causes great mental imbalance through depression and through other mental imbalances. And those soul blueprints really help us. They help us to, as the soul is going through this spiral of now experience, these 3 or 4 timelines might be calling in an experience where, in the spiral of this now moment, there's one here, one there, if you will, that are all working through their own unique aspects. They're you, the versions of you. Right now, they're versions of you. Another body, another form is you. Another planet, another earth experience is you. And all of these beings of you are going through similar experiences of control, whether you're the victim of control or you're the perpetrator of control. And that's why we always have the infinity, because you absolutely know that as you're awakening to the soul, you're calling in and integrating those soul vibrations of you. You're calling in those soul integration aspects of you. So you're going to call in all of the soul's experience of those bodies and all those forms. You're calling in those bodies and those forms. You're becoming more of the soul in and of itself. It's holism. It's being whole of yourself. And that's why it's so important to accept all things. Because they're you, they're reflections of you. The things that you see that are really great in the world, those are reflections of you. But we're not being told that. We're always saying, well, that success is outside of me. That's not me. No, it's a version of you. So celebrate, because you're recognizing it. When you recognize good things, it's a version of you. When you recognize those things that aren't necessarily so good, they're versions of you. So you're calling in those soul fragments, say, I understand these are all soul aspects of me, and I'm understanding they're all me. You then become entwined and threaded, if you will, in a more powerful way of oneness. And you get to call forward all the wisdoms and all the skills of that soul aspect of you. You then give that soul aspect of you, whatever timelines these are on, whatever bodies these are on. When you're calling in the oneness of you and you're accepting the oneness of you, you're saying, wow, I understand you had a really tough timeline. You had a really challenging part, and I'm honoring you with the fullest compassion. You're offering that soul aspect, the compassion and the space and the light that it needs to move through in the highest capacity that it can. It can choose, just like you can in this lifetime, that aspect of you can choose not to take on that light or that experience or that wisdom. If you're sending aspects of yourself, do a prayer 5 minutes every night and send all of your soul aspects light and connect with all your soul I'm sending everything that I am in all of creation. I'm sending all that I am light, so that all aspects of me have greater potentiation of light. So that anytime they're moving through a now experience, you can offer it light and you can offer it compassion that it needs to get through that next moment. Because many of us walk through our life completely and utterly alone, because of the path has been so hard. There's been very few people that want to, entangle with us and thread with us at those levels where we really want to go rich and deep in spirit. And because everybody's just moving in their own way and everybody's moving in their own time. And that soul experience and those soul blueprints also, when you're activating the soul aspect of that pain and that wound, and you're calling it in to absolutely feel it for what it needs to be felt, that pain of being abused, the pain of being subjugated, whatever the pain that needs to be felt and that emotion that needs to be felt and called forward from any of those timelines, any of those bodies, you absolutely just call it forward and accept it into the wholeness of you and accept it into the appreciation of you, and then feel it for all that it's worth, that pain, and just release it in its full capacity, so that soul fragment, if you will, we call it a soul fragment, it's really not. It's just that pocket of experience that needs to be integrated and accepted because that timeline was cut too short, or that timeline it was just a moment for moment experience of survival because there was just so much abuse. And so that soul fragment, which is just a packet of experience, if you will, is then healed and lifted to greater light as a healthy cell and a non-healthy cell. So this cell has now been made healthy, fragment, aspect, cell, whatever we want to micro, macro call it. It's you, accepting you. And then that aspect of your now reality, of your now perspective, remember perspective is everything. Your perspective is now integrating the wholeness of all that you are. And why your daily self-clearing is so important. Because your daily self-clearing allows you to, again, the redirection of all of your consciousness back to you. The direction of who you are, the focus of who you are, the intention of who you are, all that is your consciousness returns back to you. And you're allowing all that you are to be in absolute control of love and of light and the self-direction of you as spirit. Your higher self, your soul, all being led by the compass of who you are as spirit. Who are you at your heart? What are your values? What is important to you? What is your passion? How are your creative gifts being expressed, explored, and experienced? Are you being expressed and explored and experienced? And are you being nurtured and valued in it? Then in that daily self-care, you get to say, well, this is really not needed, and that's not necessary, and that's not needed. And I can release those because now I really want to focus on this and direct all of my attention. And that's how you create those timeline threads. Now you're shifting from releasing all the karma stories and all the karma cycles that we all know just, create those more vibrational stories that just keep going in circles that go nowhere, just back into karma. You get to create those timelines through your intention, through your focus, and through your direction of who you are and your energy within it. And that can only occur if you're absolutely being consciously and choosing consciously to understand the soul blueprints that you've come for and you've come with to explore in the most highest vibrational manner. You contract the ones that are even the most painful because you have similar blueprint timelines of similar sufferings and pains to trigger one another. And they're all codes. Those triggerings are called codes. We call it triggers, but they're codes. They're codes of the soul's experience. They're packets of information. And once those packets are cleared, yes, that packet has a code of, say, suffering and, captivity. The captivity, you were held in captivity in a dungeon, and you were pulled up to be used and abused. When the kings wanted you, those were held in captivity in the suffering. And you did all you did just sort of survive, in those timelines, the 1500s and, whatever timelines that those experiences had all experienced. We don't show ourselves those timelines for us that are visionaries and storytellers of timelines. We don't show ourselves those stories. We have the imprint of the experience because it just feels so deep and it feels so traumatic, and it's linked to a trigger that's happening in this now reality that isn't as deep in suffering, if you will, but it still has the same controlling experience to trigger that, to pull it forward and call it out. That's the only way that those deep timeline wounds can be pulled out. And allowing yourself the highest light. So they're wanting me to go back just a sec. So when we say those are the only ways that those triggers can call those deep wounds out, yes and no. If you're in your daily self-care and you're calling light to yourself and you're calling You're doing your deep body breath, you're calling light into yourself, you're bathing and cleansing your fields, and you're being on top of your vibration. I'm raising my vibration every day. I'm feeling good. My cells are beautiful. My cells are aligned. I'm youthful and I'm precious and I'm real and I'm profound. You're doing your affirmations and you're aligning yourself in love and light and all of those experiences. The more love and light and the more playful and joyful you are within yourself, that also clears away those deep cellular wounds. And they won't be as steeped when you do get those triggers. So the joy and the love that you're sending yourself, that you keep continuing to nurture and nourish yourself and love yourself whole, not waiting for anyone outside of you to do it, it is all you. So give every chakra the love that you need, because that chakra is the wisdom and intelligence that's linked to all of other souls of you. Your chakras have information and wisdom on all of the timelines and all of the lifetimes and all of the forms and all that you are as a soul. Those chakras are embedded with codes of experience, the packets. And those packets are timely and divinely timed activated. They're activated through the interactions of the oneness here. This is why we've always said that it is in our oneness that we seek and we know who we are. Because it's the oneness of our reflections. It's the oneness of who we are. It's the oneness of our experiences with one another. It's the oneness of the triggers or the codes that we each have within our timelines that allow us to heal these experiences. Not to blame and push out, but to say, you've had those similar experiences in your timeline, but now it's up to you to go and heal that for you, and I'll go and heal my part of it. So thank you for allowing me to see that reflection. Oftentimes it's not that easy because there's a lot of pain involved in those karmic experiences that do create pain and suffering. And those have to be accounted for and they have to be healed. But in that, you're the one that's accounting for all of your soul fragments, if you will, packets of experiences that are in your field, that are in your bodies, that are in the chakras, that you are responsible for owning and valuing and loving and being at one with and refining all that you are in those experiences. And so that's why we have the soul blueprints that we do. We have the soul blueprints for equal experiential potentiation. Potentiation to be triggered from all of the negative timelines. We say negative. We say negative in and of effect of the density that it holds, whether it's through the suffering and the pain, through all of separation and limitation timelines, because that's what we're healing here on Earth. So all of the timelines, whether it's a Sirius, Orion, it's all connected to Earth. And so they're showing me the micro macro right now. So many of you have often heard of us talk about the micro macro. We say micro macro is that if this is the sun, the central sun, the mother and the father, thank you, mother, father, they're constantly sending all the planets unique codes for every planet on what each planet needs for its sustenance and its maintenance in the evolutionary program of light. Every planet has its unique codes. Every planet has what it needs. So mother, father already know that. The creator knows what every planet needs because they're the father. Just like you as your body, this is your body, this is the sun, mother, father, and you know what your foot needs. You know what your arm needs. You know what your toes and your fingers need. If you have a cut on your toe or finger, you know what it needs to heal it. This is the same as the mother and the father, the micro macro that we often talk about. It's no different than the micro macro within you. If there is an illness, if there is something going on within you, then you absolutely know where that pain and where that energy packet is to call it forward and bring it out for greater light. You that are the micro macro father, mother, father, energy that's bathing you in codes on what you absolutely need. That's why when we often talk about daily self-care, that's when you really get in tune with who are you as the mother, father, to care for the child that you are, to be the child that you are, because you're allowing yourself the full nurturance, the full ability of the free will of who you are, the nurturance of who you are, and the gentleness of who you are, to give yourself the compassion and love that you are, so that you can continue to grow and expand, because you are the sacred child. You are the mother and the father of you. That's how we heal all timelines, not blaming and suppressing and continually creating those back and forth egocentric experiences of blaming and shaming and us and them and the separation of white and black and the dark and white and lowers, all those kind of things. No, it's all us. So just call it within, accept all that you see before you, accept it all. And what is that showing you? Where does that wound sit? Where does that judgment sit? And then reflect upon it. What is this judgment showing me? How am I feeling about this judgment? And I say, well, I feel this, this, and this. Okay, well, feel into those feelings. What does that feel like? Well, it feels like abuse. Okay, well, then let's talk about that abuse, because that abuse is linked to 3 or 4 timelines. And that's how you just keep calling those energies forward. You say, wow, I acknowledged all of these experiences. That was awesome. You see what we're saying? You're gaining the reflective energies and the intelligences of all those timelines, even though you might not have effectively experienced sexual abuse, but you did experience mental abuse. or emotional abuse. Those abuses are linked to all of those timelines, and you have the intelligence and the wisdoms of all those timelines on how that felt for you as a soul, because you're a soul now. The soul blueprints and the contracts that you take, we say, again, those of you that know what we're offering already know what we're offering because of our vibration as the Christ consciousness, but we're saying this because they're wanting me to clarify. When we say soul blueprint and contracts, we also mean with you. So if you have a soul blueprint, we'll just take these 3 timelines, these 3 bodies, these 3 forms. It could be on earth, it could not be on earth, doesn't matter. These 3 soul blueprints, we're talking about, we'll say abuse in any way, physically, mentally, emotionally. If you had a parent that abused you in any way, physically, mentally, emotionally, or etherically, spiritually, any other way, doesn't matter, because there's so many, there's many that work with various types of energy, and they're perhaps not using it in the benevolence, and they use those experiences that harm people. And so that is a form of energetic abuse. And so any type of abuse that is used in harm of another, those experiences are contracts with you, so that in this now moment of who you are with spirit and God, as you're calling through and you're moving through your most profound lifetime of awakening, you're knowing that you're aligning with Mother, Father, God, you're aligning with the all is one and the one is the all, you're aligning with that self-love and all that you are. When you go through these experiences and you're healing an abusive experience that you're going through, it might not necessarily have anything to do with these other timeline abuses, but it is abuse. In any way, when one has offered or taken your free will away or manifested control over you, and we all know that now as we awaken, that we stand in our own power and we bring all of that power back to us, all of that light back to us, and all of our choices back to us. We understand that those energies have no control over us. But we have to go through that awakening process to understand that. Because again, we've been brought up in an entire reality where everything says that our power doesn't belong to us. We're not powerful beings. That we don't have the power within, that we don't have our choice within, and that we absolutely do. Because those are the socioeconomic systems we've all grown up in. You have the same blueprint of soul control, that soul blueprint, that you're offering these other aspects of you. Say, yes, when I clear this control issue out in this timeline, I'm going to offer you so much light, and I'm going to offer you so much love that you will also have the opportunity to stand in your light and manifest greater self-empowerment and self-direction and self-inspiration for you, so that you don't have to necessarily move and continue your life of control. You don't have to manifest those energies of fear, because no one has control over you. No one has the right to demean or belittle you, who you are, or you can never control how another person acts or what they do, but you can certainly control how you respond to it. And you can just allow to see it as like Archangel Michael, face it as Archangel Michael. There's no fear there. And I face you with the same level of love. I know who you are and I know what you're doing. It's not a game that you can hide and kind of brush under the carpet anymore, because when you're awakened, you see everything for what it is. It's transparency, full transparency. No matter how hard this person might try and hide it, it's full transparent. You can see right through it. So the games don't work anymore. And so they'll perhaps try another game and try another this and try another that, until they realize that spirit sees and knows all. So there's no point to play those games. Are you going to come forward in truth or not? And they might not. They might just go on and play with those people that want to still play those games. And that's okay. There's no judgment. But when you're standing in your power and you're returning all the power and the light back to you, you're not giving your power outside of anyone that makes them feel more powerful and you not more powerful. No, everyone is at an equal experience of who we are as spirit. Everyone's equal. We're all equal. And how we choose and we live from a space of love and light and truth and honorability, our values of who we are, the acceptance of who we are, the belonging of ourselves to who we are, we're offering those same light packets to all other aspects of us. We have those soul contracts with us too. And that's why we feel those intensities, because we chose that this lifetime is a lifetime that we do wake up. This lifetime is the timeline where we're actually going to say, no, I'm going to fully stand in my power. I'm going to fully be here in my oneness, because this is where that 51% of karma from all of those timelines, 3 to 5D, that's a powerful packet of tools right there. if you think about what we have done in one lifetime, this is incredible. This is why I just get so, it's mind-boggling to think about this lifetime here on earth. This is the most profound lifetime of all lifetimes. This lifetime, this earth, this body, this moment of now is so profound, you have no idea. It's mind-boggling. Your vibration is known throughout the universe. Your vibration is known. Your vibration is known to all other aspects of you, that you have in this opportunity to claim who you are, to get connected with spirit, to own who you are as power, as light, as truth, as love, and you get to direct and intend your path so that it's the most miraculous path. It is the most miraculous summoning of the universe for all that you are as spirit. Summon the powers of the universe to come and be with you and live with you and speak with you and thread moment for moment of love with you, through you, for you. It's so profound. 51% of your karma ever from 3 to 5D. That's huge. That's huge. The bodies and the forms and the life lessons and the soul experiences and the intelligence and the wisdom and the gifts and the skills held within each and one of those experiences. This is one timeline that we've experienced, if you say one timeline, but we're switching timelines at every moment based on free will and the choice of how people choose to move about their path. And it's changing. This is why you can let go of the worry and the concern about, who's going where and who's going with who and are they going to come with me and all those kind of questions that most people have in awakening and ascension, because there's an infinite number of things occurring in every one moment, and it's all depending and based on free will, because that's spirit. Spirit says, well, they just might want to go and play over there for a little while, and it's still the same. You're all spirit. You're all one. There's no separation. No separation. You're going to be more and more aligned with those that want to play that similar vibrational game, because that vibrational game helps push out the evolutionary cycle. It also presses out the evolutionary cycle for those that want to go and play in different areas as well, because again, there has to be that equal catalyst going this way for anything to go this way. So there always has to be those equal catalytic experiences. But when it's tipped too much one way, which we were back in 1987, where there was so much darkness and negativity that the planet was very imbalanced and we were doing great degradation to the human species, and the lack of evolution that was going on, it was very imbalanced. And that is when the light program began to rebalance the Vesica Pisces and to rebalance who we are, so that we absolutely have enough light catalytic energy to press out evolution in new ways. And so that's why we have those soul blueprints, and they're very profound. Oftentimes we're in the lower vibrational bodies and versions. We say lower, it's just what we're offering. As when you step into that higher self experience, you see why and how and why it had to occur, because there were the deepest wound energies from varying timelines that had to be that trigger to call it forward. And why often, again, there's been so many since the beginning of time that have so many tragic stories, but absolutely were their most heroic moments in suffering and pain, because it was that equal catalyst that required them to step to that new level of self-love and forgiveness and compassion for thyself first. So you're offering those soul contracts to yourself as well as all others that you're threaded and connected with, and they need that of you. And it's no different again for the children. Let me say that's really important, because we are here in essence to activate the DNA of who we are. That activation of our DNA affects our fields that we exist within. It affects the chakra systems and how they flow within and without greater light. The light that you accept within your chakras, the clarity of your chakras, when we say clarity, we would truly mean literally and figuratively. The clarity of your chakras, the clarity of your field, and the daily clearing and cleansing and the daily self-care helps keep your fields clear. It helps align through when you are ready for a DNA activation. You've cleared and you've worked out and you've done the reflection on those wounds. You've done the reflections on how you're going to realign. You've done the reflections on what you truly learned and how you can actually put it into greater practice of self-love and sharing it forward. That we all move through experiences of subjugation and control, whether it's, who holds the money, purse money in the house, how do we go and where do we go and who makes all the decisions, and all of those experiences that most often than not can lead to, especially if it's prolonged, to belittlement of anyone that doesn't have equal share of common say. We want to be held in equal accountability, we want to be held in equal responsibility, we want to be held in equal ownership of wisdom and intelligence and income and abundance and all of those things that women have been absolutely been doing. We've just never been offered the credit, and well, they've always said there's that that old saying where there's always a divine queen behind every king. For it was always the king that went to the queen for information and what should I do and what should I do and what should I do. And the kings were always moving forward with, most often than not, their most trusted advisors were divine feminine. And so, but where were the divine feminine ever held in these accolades and in these, celebrations? And that's centuries. We're not talking just, a couple of decades. We're talking centuries of divine feminine being suppressed. And that's a lot of timelines. That's a lot of bodies. That's a lot of controlling energies, timeline after timeline after timeline. You wonder why you feel really intense about one issue of control that's going on in your life. It's not okay. And those of us that have had, various sexual abuse energies in our timelines, and you have an experience in your now timeline that seems that doesn't seem as detrimental, if you will. We understand that many of those timelines were also had where it was really detrimental, and why you feel those intensities that you do, because you're calling on those deep wounds from those other timelines that really need to come forward to be expressed. So if you have those deep traumatic experiences, and you're not sure why you feel the way that you do, just sit down and start journaling it out, and just start channeling those energies from your chakra systems and from your emotional field. Just say, I'm going to call these from my emotional field, because you get to refine your vibrational fields. There's an emotional field, there's a mental field, there's a celestial field. There's all of these energetic fields that you live within, and how they are impacted by your environment, by the people that you co-create with and co-create around. They all affect your fields. That's why it's really important that in your daily self-care, you'll absolutely realize what feels good and what doesn't feel good. What is nourishing or what is suppressing. What feels really great, what feels, it just feels like it's constantly pulling on your field and constantly irritating and aggravating. Then you know to move away, and do so, because it does affect your fields. It affects your chakras. It affects your health. It affects your wellness. Where you're constantly feeling sick and ill, that's not okay. There's things going on with your field there that are in subjugation. And so honor it and clear it out every day. There's nothing more important right now for everybody on our planet than self-care, because one can't have the egocentric life that it wants if there's nothing but sick and illness. And then you realize, wow, that really wasn't what I wanted anyways. I wanted to actually know who I am in spirit, because spirit is so much more satisfying. You walk around and you have conversations with spirit all day. Spirit's everywhere. Spirit's speaking through you, and spirit saying, wow, I loved how you did that. That's really great. We're so proud of you. We love you. And the constant voice of spirit is just living through you. And that rarefies and purifies your field as well. Then you're ready for those DNA activations, where you're activating the 10th and the 11th and the 12th strand, and those activities of tools and gifts that come through it. Because those allow those that you live within and the soul blueprints that you're all connected with to have their access of light too. If your body is suppressed and depressed with disease or any of the imbalances that we go through, because we haven't had understanding of who we are, what we exist within, and what exists within us, we absolutely must understand from here on out that we are multidimensional beings. We cannot anticipate to heal anything without a multidimensional approach. We just simply can't. It's like Stone Age healing to modern healing. That's how profoundly different it is. And there's no two ways about it. There just isn't. I mean, just look at the world. Look at our world. If there is a lot of ego reactivity, there's absolutely imbalances, and people have not yet awakened to the spirit of who they are and how to clear their bodies when we see so much ego reactivity, because they're reacting from ego and safety and fear and greed. If you're balanced within spirit, you respond. You respond in gentleness and kindness and compassion and understanding the grander picture of it all. You understand that, oh yes, I'm contracted with you to show me this. Oh great, well I'm contracted with you to show me this. So let's work it out from a unified experience and say, well, that's what you learned. This is what I learned. Now we can go our separate ways in peace and in joy and in unity. And so, but it has to get to that place where all are awakened to that point to say, I understand why we're contracting with one another to activate the Vesica Pisces of each other. The Vesica Pisces is the pure balance of who you are as male, female, the mother and the father, to nourish you as children. So these children are feeling and knowing absolutely of the amount of flow, because when you're clear, when you're rarefied, and when you have refined, your bodies and your fields are clear. It allows the highest amount of light to live through you. And every time that we are blessed with greater light and blessed with greater codes, especially through equinoxes, big alignments like the Lion's Gate, and all of these experiences, you absolutely know that these alignments and these codes are going to affect you even more and bring out even more of those dense packets of experience for you to deal with and face and confront and say, wow, so glad I did that, because now I'm helping all of those other aspects of me. I've got a contract with that aspect of me on Sirius. I've got an aspect of that on me on Andromedan. You know, they told me the other night as I was falling asleep, they always do it just as I'm ready to fall asleep. They come up with a couple of words of wisdom of what I'm going to be moving through. And they were saying that I'm awakening my Andromedan, a lot of my Andromedan DNA, because my intentions for where I'm going in this next phase of my life are to open up a lot of celestial and ET codes within my fields and my DNA. And so, but that will equally trigger those that are not ready for those codes to react, from fear and limitation and from, who do you think you are kind of thing, because they're sensing the vibrational energies and the codes that I offer in my field and in my Christ consciousness. It's a vibration of trigger in their field so that they can go within and ask themselves the questions. However, some won't. They won't take that time to go, okay, why was I feeling that way, to do that. But as the light workers get activated to deeper DNA codes, they're activating more of their celestial and ET DNA, but that will cause others to question and confront because they're not familiar with those codes and their bodies and their fields are just reacting because it's always new, it's change. And so what brings change also brings concern and fear and worry if they're living from that space of ego. So just know that that's a part of the natural process of awakening. As you deepen and awaken your higher vibrational DNA codes through various levels of your DNA strands, then you're pulling in those cosmic and celestial energies that are not known to the earth experience for thousands and thousands of years. But now that we're awakened, we're understanding that yes, we're all aspects of our soul. The more that you call those in and heal them, you have access also to those gifts and those codes that represent those pulsations of celestial DNA or ET DNA. And those DNA codes are what your children need because they come with DNAs that are hybridized. They come with the crystalline energies in their frequency bodies that are highly more crystalline than we have been. So if I'm not activating and clearing out the densities from conformity and limitation and fear, those DNA strands can't get activated, which means the children can't get activated. And they need that. So once I'm activated, boy, they're happier because they're now feeling more alive because they just got cleared and activated. And I've seen a difference within 2 or 3 days. When I get activated, they get activated. So attune and just know that when you're stepping outside the box of conformity, when you're stepping outside the box of everything that was in those vibrational stories that hold anyone and everyone back, if you are being held back, you are holding them back. And just know that. That's why you contracted together, because they knew that as the guardian of their DNA souls, you were going to do everything that you could to step outside the box and continue on your evolutionary path so that they could be triggered as well. And there's always going to be those little rough moments at the beginning where that's questions. What are you doing? That's not what we've always done. That's not what humanity does. That's not what this is. And that's not what that is. Yeah, well, so this is different now. We're not meant to do things as we did yesterday. Break out of the box and be new. Who says we can't do school in different ways? Who says we can't, move about the world as free people and liberated souls and assist and be of great care and kindness to one another? Who says, why do we have to have this 9-to-5 rotation of routine that stagnates everybody and all things? No, shake it up. Call in the highest aspects of you, call in your soul, call in the vibration of who you are as source, call in the vibration of excitement and adventure, call in the vibration of who are we today, and let the children fly. This is who I want to be today. I want to explore who I am. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And let them be a part of new discoveries. Let them be a part of new system co-creations. Because what we've been doing has not been working. It hasn't, not in any way. Multidimensionally, not in any way. And we're each here to transform and change it. Because we're not the same that we were. These children should not be learning the same things that we've been learning. They're not the same. They're not the same. Their DNA is different. They're multidimensional beings. They're multidimensional. And if we are allowing ourselves to continually be adventurous in who we are as spirit, who am I today? What is my soul calling in for me today? It might be a different aspect of me today. Okay, what can I feel into this earthly experience? And I can ground that DNA experience of my Andromedan. How can I ground that Andromedan experience through me so that I'm radiating my Andromedanness? And those pulsations go out, and others that are attracted to my energy will be drawn to me, and the councils of light and all the energies and all of the heavens are working with me to thread those energies to me, so they can get activated and remind themselves who they are. See what we're saying? It's an elegant system. As you awaken one part of you, all of those that need that activation too are also threaded with you, to you, and for you. Spirit knows. Spirit sees and knows all. If you're ready to go through a DNA activation, Spirit's already threading people to see one of your videos or book an appointment with you. You put out those vibrations of goodness and goodwill to all. Spirit's going to help you in every way, bring all that it is that you need for your gifts and your skills and your talents to be uniquely threaded and pulsating constant abundance to you in all ways. Whether it's the abundance of a soul tribe that understand you and honor you and do want your Andromedan DNA. Pulsations and informations and wisdoms, because they want their fields activated with Andromedan, because they know that they come from Andromedan deep within, and that's why they're threaded to you. That's why they're attracted to you. I was just giving that as an example. But that just tells you the profundity of these soul contracts, and we don't have to look at it in the way that we do in 3D to say, oh, you know, the blaming and the shaming game of what they did and how the suffering happened. Just release it all, forgive it all, and understand that that's a divine soul contract that you honored in one another, because you had the similar pains and suffering. But now you can let that go and allow it to be healed. Transmute that timeline altogether, so that all aspects of your soul particles of also that experience suffering through abuse or any other type of subjugation, they also get that light. They're accessing that light when they want to, and you just keep sending the light. I know you can do it. I know you can get through that timeline where you're going through that. I can feel it. I can feel it. I'm sending you light. Because when you take on greater light, the rest of your soul has access to that light. When you call in all of your information, all your wisdom, and all your guidance, and you're connecting and you're being in that harmonization with your higher self and your soul, okay, what's good for us today? What's good for us today? What's good for us today? Your higher self and your soul are so aligned that they're doing the highest and the best with all of these other aspects of you that are also threading you light. You see what we're saying? It's a dynamic and elegant experience. You don't have to know how to do it all. You just got to constantly align, clearing out your fields, honoring who you are as light, believing in who you are as love and light, and trusting that your divine higher self and your soul and all that you are is going to align you with your highest and your best. And you're not responsible for anybody else's soul blueprint. You're not responsible for how anybody else ascends. You're not responsible for any karma clearing from anybody. You're responsible for you and your field and your light, and return all your power back to you. I call all power back to me. I return all power back to me. I return all power back to me. And I claim my light and I claim my power. I claim my light and I claim my power, because I know it serves all that I am in all soul aspects, all soul bodies, all timelines, all realms. And in standing in my light, I know my children get that too. And they can see me stand in my light, and they can stand in their light, because they're seeing someone go where they had their experience of a mother giving their power away, and yet their mother reclaims their power back, and they can see that, so that they can do that in their own lives if they so choose. They can see the examples of what occurs when awakening happens, when we live in the truth of who we are, and we live in the sacredness of our bodies, and how precious it is to take time for your self-care. Devote time to your self-care. Devote time to your sacred space. And allow those that really nourish you in that sacred space to come and play with you, while you're refining and you're reflecting on aspects that didn't nourish you, and be compassionate and okay with those aspects too, and accept it all. And we're going to just do a quick light activation for honoring of all soul blueprints, so that you may open to the experiences that are held within those soul blueprints, and you honor the reasons and the benevolence that all of you played for one another, and you are playing for one another, as well as the soul energies and the wisdoms and the experiences that all of those soul aspects of you that are also contracts. You're threading your soul blueprint for you, through you. And so honor it. It's very sacred. Like, wow, I took this on for my soul. That is so incredible. And just to give you like how incredible it is, because oftentimes we don't see or feel how powerful it is. Sometimes, with the exception of visionaries like myself and many others, that we come and we can actually see the threading of timelines. We can see it. We can see the profundity that your light in this realm right now is known to all other aspects. They know you. They know you. And that's why you'll see them. I had in the shower one day, I was singing in the shower, and I was really happy. And most of my soul aspects that want to connect with me and commune with me, that have contracted to commune with me in this lifetime, they absolutely know how much I love singing and dancing and just being silly. That's just me. That's my natural personality. They came to me in the shower one time, and I was just like, "Oh, hi, how are you? Who are you?" I said, "I'm just you. I'm an aspect of you." And they contract with you. So those contracts are with you as well. And so just being that beautiful and light, vibrant part of you, where you're just constantly releasing what no longer serves. You're constantly releasing those aspects of fear and worry and subjugation and transmuting it. Because they don't really go anywhere. When you say release, they don't really go anywhere. You're choosing to transmute. I choose to transmute this to a complete experience of love and benevolence and acceptance, because I accept the story that it showed me. And I'm going to create this portal of manifestation where I am going to create light from that experience. I'm going to create wisdom from that experience. I'm going to create higher vibrational choices. I'm going to create an experience where I get to help others awaken to their light, awaken to their divine powerful choice that they have within them, and how that choice helps heal their body and their cells and their divine beingness, and they can become more attuned with their higher self and their soul and their intuitive beings that are always with them and always around them, preparing them for first contact and exploration. And it's just such a beautiful experience of unification. So just receive light. Just open up your heart. I choose to receive light now, Spirit. I choose to receive light. All that I am is this beautiful experience. I thank you so much, Spirit. And through my full body breath, I intend that I'm opening my pillar of light, for my voice is the commandment of who I am. I choose to take the highest honor of who I am, spirit and soul. I call my soul forward. I call my higher self forward. I am manifesting a new portal of experience. I'm manifesting a new portal of love and joy and acceptance for all soul blueprints, for all the lessons and the blessings that they teach. And I'm releasing all experiences of blame and shame and guilt. And I'm absolutely appreciating with deep gratitude of the highest versions of love that I'm able to feel and accept in all experiences, for that is who I am that I am. Thank you, Spirit. I'm calling in the harmonization of my higher self and my spirit and my soul, and I'm harmonizing with the Mother and the Father. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. And I'm going to call in the highest light of codes and love and sounds and tones to release any densities, any blocks. Thank you, Spirit. These activations will also activate any DNA, any resistance or activities in the field that remain as densities or imprints. Please be released through this activation, as the angels right now, thank you, Spirit. The angels right now are bringing, they're just bathing with golden crystalline light. Thank you, Spirit, and the violet flame through any fields and bodies that need it. It's time, Spirit. Thank you for the highest benevolence of the all. And feel yourself ground and ground and ground, and breathe up. Especially with these energetic intensities, dear lighted ones, it's a very good idea to practice grounding as often as possible throughout your day. Practice clearing your fields throughout your day. Practice clearing your bodies throughout your day through intention and through breath. Get used to who you are with spirit as spirit. Get used to who you are as spirit with spirit. Get used to who you are as harmonizing as spirit, to take full commandment and love of your body, seeing light, bathing yourself in light, bathing all densities with light. Seeing yourself from the core vibration of who you are, just jetting out divine crystalline light, bathing any and all densities, and seeking oneness and love with all things and all beings. Regardless of the experience, you are one with all experiences and all beings. Thank you, Spirit, for our higher vibrational inclusivity. Thank you, Spirit. And we create these codes of love and light into our oneness and into the integration of who we are as divine souls from the heavens and from all star systems and all realms, that we activate who we are as the fullness of who we are. Thank you, Spirit. These wonderful experiences. Thank you, Spirit, and the Holy Creators. And just open your heart to receive. Thank you, Spirit. Hiya mama ka tatiki siya mama tatiki tatiki mama ka tatiki na tatiki siya mama ka like tatiki na maka tatiki na ma tatiki siya mama ka tatiki siya mama ka tatiki si ay mama ka tatiki si ay mama ka si ay mama ka tatiki tatiki mama kata tiki si ay mama kata tika tiki si ay mama kata tiki malakara la ila na kata tiki na mara kata tiki na ma tiki tiki si ay mama kata tiki na ma tiki Ooh, that was really powerful. I'm all dizzy. Oh, just ground, 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 ground. Wow, that was so powerful. Ooh, I'm so dizzy. Oh, it was a huge heart activation. That was so powerful. Oh, thank you, sisters. Thank you, the sisterhood from the Pleiades and the highest divine feminine. Oh, I'm so excited. Like, so excited. Thank you, sisters. I love you. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. We love you so much. For those of you that would like to donate, our little donate link is down below. We have Saturday classes, full moon and new moon classes to align the multidimensional bodies. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Spirit. I'm so very, very grateful. Allow yourself to spend 5 minutes every day in gratitude and appreciation and opening up the portal of all that you are as Spirit. Know that you're creating your timeline through intention, direction, and focus of your energy, focus of your intentions, focus of your attention. And that's how you create those timelines. So who are you? What do you exist within? And what exists within you? And how can you create this beautiful new creative timeline that is the most dynamic timeline ever? And this is the timeline where we do it, and we do it together. So reach out, reach out, reach out. I hold private coaching sessions, private classes. I hold individual coaching sessions as well as healings and activations. And we're so, so happy. I've also written 3 books on ascension and much, much more. And so we appreciate and we love you and we honor you so much for being a part of our Sacred Soul Tribe. We love you. Bye. Talk to Spirit. Talk to Spirit. Spirit's always with you, always with you. Bye, dear lighted ones. Bye.